Hey everybody, it's Kevin Carr, and in this episode of Fitness Fundamentals, I'm going to show you a scientifically proven workout using the Aerobic that will improve your VO2 max and cardiovascular health. And best yet, it's going to take less time than it even takes you to watch this video. Public health guidelines recommend 30 to 60 minutes of moderate intensity exercise most days per week. The problem is less than 25% of Americans currently reach the recommended physical activity guidelines by the U.S. Department of Health. Lack of time is the most commonly cited barrier for the average person trying to reach minimum exercise guidelines. Whether you're a competitive athlete trying to fit physical performance training around your competitive and practice schedule, or a busy everyday person trying to fit fitness into your life, sometimes finding time for exercise is tough. In this video, I'm going to show you how to develop the most aerobic fitness in the minimal amount of time using the Aerobic. Let's start by going over some basics. VO2 max is the gold standard for aerobic health and performance of the cardiovascular system. VO2 max is defined as the maximal rate that your body can consume oxygen during exercise. Simply put, the more fit that you are, the more oxygen your body can take up and utilize during an exercise session. VO2 max is inversely correlated with our overall mortality risk, as well as our risk for cardiovascular disease and heart attack. By just having an average VO2 max of 42 milliliters per kilogram, it can reduce our overall mortality risk by 50%. And by having an elite VO2 max of over 52 milliliters per kilogram, can reduce our overall mortality risk by over 80%. So with all that said, VO2 max is a big deal when it comes to our health. The problem is that most recommendations for improving VO2 max involve long, slow, steady state efforts usually done running or via long rides on a stationary or road bike. Now, I do a lot of long, slow, steady rides on the Aerobic personally because I enjoy it, but the fact of the matter is most people hate long, slow, boring endurance work, and quite frankly, they just don't have the time for it. Most recommendations for long, slow zone 2 aerobic work are up to 3 to 4 hours a week, and that doesn't even include the time that you should be making for strength training. Quite frankly, the average person cannot and will not make time to fit that into their schedule. So the question is, can we find a better and more time-efficient way to develop our aerobic fitness? Given that most people cite time availability as their reason for not exercising, I think it makes sense that we should try to find a more time-efficient way to improve our VO2 max, our cardiorespiratory fitness, and our overall health. This is why I want to introduce the idea of max aerobic speed training. Max aerobic speed intervals are a great way to improve aerobic fitness without the same time commitment that comes from long, slow, steady state work. Max aerobic speed intervals are high intensity intervals performed at or preferably above our max aerobic speed. Your max aerobic speed is defined as your maximal work rate that you can maintain over a 5 to 6 minute time trial known as a modified Cooper's test. Research has shown that repeated high-intensity intervals performed at an intensity greater than your max aerobic speed is more effective in improving your aerobic power than long, slow, steady endurance work. And the best part is you can do it in a fraction of the amount of time. Specifically, performing repeat sprints at 120% of your max aerobic speed was shown to be the single most effective and repeatable speed to improve your aerobic power. And all of this we can do in a total of 8 minutes of work. So to determine your max aerobic speed, we're going to start by doing a modified Cooper's test on the Aerobic. You can simply hop on and ride for as fast as you can for 5 minutes, but at MBSC, we simply like to recommend our clients ride at a maximum intensity for a total of 2 miles. Over that 2 miles, we're going to monitor a couple of key indicators. Number one, and most importantly, we're going to track your average RPMs over the course of the test. That number is going to equate directly to your max aerobic speed. Number two, we're going to track your time to completion, because a few months down the road, we're going to retest to see if you can complete that 2 mile time trial in a faster period of time. Your average work rate recorded in RPMs over the course of the time trial is by definition your max aerobic speed. This is the maximum average work rate that you can maintain aerobically over the course of that 2 mile test. We're going to use this number in RPMs to prescribe specific intensities during your intervals. As I mentioned earlier, 120% of your max aerobic speed has been shown to be the ideal intensity for high intensity repeated intervals to improve your aerobic power. We use a Tabata format prescribing 10 seconds of work prescribed at 120% of your max aerobic speed, followed by 20 seconds of passive rest repeated for 2 rounds of 8 repetitions. So for example, if your average RPM over the course of the modified Cooper's test was 70 RPMs, your minimal prescribed intensity at 120% would be 84 RPMs during your intervals. At MBSC, we use this simple chart for our coaches and athletes to quickly determine the prescribed amount of RPMs during training. We do this so our athletes have a starting point to determine their baseline to ensure that they can maintain that 120% as a baseline throughout their entire conditioning session. If they find that easy, then we'll allow them to intensify their percentage over time. From there, to continue to build challenge into our training, we can simply add volume and repetitions as we go, essentially building an inverted period where we just add more sets and more rounds of high intensity intervals as the weeks go by. We recommend retesting your max aerobic speed test every 12 weeks or so. You're going to find that as your aerobic power improves, you're going to complete that test in a shorter period of time. And that's going to allow us to establish a new baseline RPM in max aerobic speed in our training. If you guys enjoyed this video and want access to the references, the MAS speed chart, or simply want to watch without commercials, head on over to MBSC TV to watch Fitness Fundamentals Premium, and you can get access to all of those materials. In addition to that, we have tens of thousands of hours of educational content from MBSC, including all of our staff meetings, in-services, seminars, and every program that we've ever written for the last 10 years. Head on over to MBSC TV today to start your 7-day free trial, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. There you have it, everyone. That's how I would recommend improving your aerobic fitness with the minimal amount of time. Do you have something that you want to see me cover on Fitness Fundamentals? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to cover it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time.